What's going on, guys? SNOtrainer here. This is in response to seeing Graham Watanabe's ball jumping video and watching the Olympics. And while it's a cool drill, cool exercise, you know, there was no progression in showing that drill. So while it could be potentially a cool circus act, if somebody is interested in using a Swiss ball to begin to enhance their balance, where do you start? You know, so if you've never done straight airs on a snowboard before, you're not going to go and try doing a backflip right away. So in response to that, I wanted to show a couple of different balance training exercises that you could do just to begin to increase your awareness to balance, especially if you've never done any of these different drills on here. So, quick thing on here, the amount of inflation or deflation for that matter does affect the sensitivity of the ball. The more deflated it is, the easier it's going to be to balance. Alright, so the more you blow it up, the harder it is, the harder it's going to be to balance. Alright, so a nice easy one is going to be just a 4-point stance. Just put your hands on the ball, make the knees touch the ball, and then just roll forward and get over the top of the ball. And then just become one with the ball. Just kind of, believe it or not, you want to stay a little more relaxed on here. The more rigid you are, the harder it's going to be to, recorrect yourself or reposition as you're moving on there, because essentially what balance is called proprioception. That's your body's awareness in space. Alright, so I have all these receptors throughout my entire body, and those receptors are constantly giving feedback to my brain, which more importantly has to send the response back down for my body to respond for the task at hand. Alright, so think about how that loop is being trained right now as I'm even balancing on the ball. Alright, now that loop can be trained, the speed of that loop. Alright, and as we all age, which none of us are immune, it's going to be very important to include some kind of balance training. This isn't the only type of balance training. Balance training doesn't need to involve a tool like a ball or different rocker boards or wobble boards. Alright, you could do it just by simply doing some exercise on a single leg, eyes closed, barefoot, you name it. So now from here I'm just going to mess around with my base of support and go to a alternating arm reach. And just stirring the pot here, that's all this is doing. So I'm going to make my balancing act a little bit more dynamic by moving my limbs. And what's that going to do is that's going to shift my center of mass, and then again I have those receptors or sensors sending information to my brain, and my brain has to then send a response back, an appropriate response, hopefully. Alright, little 2-point stance. Different 2-point stance, kneeling. Alright, there's a lot of different stuff that have been thrown around with balancing, kneeling on a ball, different exercises with different chops, cables, dumbbells, things like that. So, you know, the goal with this was just some balance awareness. Just begin to mess around here, get comfortable with the ball. Another dynamic variation, I could go to a half kneeling. See if I can stand on here. It's been a little while. So, if this is something I want to get into standing on the ball, I would recommend doing it next to a wall or next to something that you can support yourself with if you've never been on here before. Because, much like in snowboarding, when you catch an edge, it throws you down brutally fast. The same thing could happen here. That ball will take out underneath you, and you'll be on your back before you know it. Alright? You can even take a seat on here. This one's actually deceivingly hard. But you can either keep allow the legs and the feet to dangle in the air, which will provide a nice counterbalance. If you notice, I do have to lean back. I can't sit vertically on here. I can press my heels against the ball and that'll shift my upper body position now. So again, just mess around. This is how you can watch TV for a couple hours. Guys, have fun. Be safe with this, all right? It's definitely a delicate issue. Last thing you want to do is something stupid on here and knock you out for the rest of the season. So be safe, have fun. Catch you later.